Hi and welcome to another Monday Live, and after a rather nice weekend we are back to I suppose what we sometimes expect. Slam A is the name of the month. Remember, Slam May, so we should be attending to slams. Please do send a few in. I mean, obviously May is always a strange month for Mondays because of course plenty of bank holidays and all sorts. In fact, by the time we get to the end of the May, I am on a cruise. I'm going around the Scottish Islands, which should be fun. Hopefully we get the same weather as the weekend just passed rather than the day after the weekend, so we'll see. We're suit establishing on Fridays, don't forget. So today we're going to talk about cube bidding. I'll be using quite a lot from the actual big seminar, a certain amount of repetition, but we'll discuss beyond that. Had an interesting email from Brian with respect to the subject matter, so it's quite interesting. What else is there? We'll have our usual 5-level decision, the hangover from Friday. We'll have the bidding quiz to finish, and of course I'll do a little bit on the novices at the end. We got our usual fun during the week, the teams on Wednesday. It was good fun last week, hopefully some fun this week, and then of course the prize teams the week after. And I would say that's pretty much us covered. In terms of our events coming up, I think we as usual, we'll have one at Denham. There's Kim. He's in July, I think. We have one a month in Denham generally. I do a few of them, but Kim's doing the one in July. I think Kim's at Two Bridges as well in the summer, in June, so look out for that one. And then we've got a couple of mine. Alnwick up in the north, of course, in October, and the Two Bridges, which is a rather nice spot in Devon, of course, where for what we call a gourmet event. So a variety of things there. I tell you what, let's start with a look at that 5-level decision that we had. So I have to go over to the, excuse me while I disappear for a second. There you go. So we had this auction. You were the opening bidder, and with 16 points, excuse me, in a singleton, you decided to open a heart, which seems reasonable. It rather accelerated after that though. 1 heart, 2 spades, 3 diamonds, jump to 4 spades. So a pretty aggressive auction. You are vulnerable against non-vulnerable opponents. You are vulnerable against non-vulnerable opponents. 1 heart, 2 spades weak. 3 diamonds from your partner, 4 spades from North, and it's your bid again. And this, of course, is one of our 5-level decisions. We will revisit this after the seminar. Okay, so have a little think about that one. See what you think you are preparing to do over that 4 spade bid. Okay, it's a rather disruptive bid, but of course we all do it ourselves, or I hope you do, so being on the wrong end of it, and that's what 5-level decisions are often about, having these annoying people getting in an auction and forcing you to make uncomfortable decisions. Okay, holiday wise, Mallorca we're classic there, and there's a Christmas cruise coming up this year. So do think about that. I think that's quite a nice one. I have Christmas with my family, but we do run an event, of course, in the UK, in Denham. But we thought we would try out a Christmas cruise for you. So if you do fancy that, Robin and Hilary will be on board with 2 other team members as well. So hopefully we will have some fun. Okay, seminar. That's where we go. Here we go. So we are doing more cube bidding, and to be honest, what I'm going to look at today is just revising the cube bidding element, which is at the start of the seminar as well. The more cube bids comes in different circumstances. We'll look at those at the end of today, but also tomorrow. Okay, so we will see. Okay, so the most important element of all auctions are that if you think your side has 30 or more total points in a big fit, you've got to try and get it across to your partner. Get excited, because if you're in that range, there is going to be a chance for a slam. So with a big fit, 30 or more total points. Of course, with two balanced hands, very different. You're needing 33 high card points. So the queens and jacks are important. When you're in a suit contract, you're able to rough the third rounds of the suit and the third and fourth rounds. So generally your aces and kings are mostly important. If you're doing Q bidding or anything like that, splinter bids, Q bids, whatever they are, you can't use Gerber anymore, because we're going to use 4 clubs for different matter. If you don't know what Gerber is, do not worry about it. If you do and you don't like Q bidding, well, stick to it. You won't be interested in Q bidding, as it were. But to accurately, or try to accurately bid slams, you sort of need to use your 4 clubs and 4 diamonds and things like that for Q bids. Okay, what is Q bidding? It's basically a way of saying, partner, I have the ability to at least win one of the first 2 rounds of a suit. Okay, so if we bid blackwood and find we're only missing 1 ace, there's a fair chance, if we know we've got the values, that we can make a slam. So ace or void, or a king or a singleton. Okay, first or second round control. The reason I link those together is because generally when I Q bid, I just simply want to show a control of some sort. Okay, and clearly to make a genuine slam, and I have to say genuine because of course I think most of us have probably been in a slam that maybe we shouldn't have made, but to make a slam generally you're going to need a control of every suit, because if you haven't got control in clubs, for example, they can take the ace and king off the top. Now they may not do that, and we've been there, as it were. 6 hearts will make +1 because they don't lead a club and I managed to discard them all. Okay, but obviously we're aiming to bid accurately to these slams so that when dummy comes down we think, yeah, we're in a good contract. So when you identify your big fit, your next decision is, do I have partner 1 spade, 3 spades, I've got 19 points and a singleton, I feel, wow, we are going places here. Do I have control of every suit? That's what I say to myself. And if I have, I bring out the blackwood. That's the key, because blackwood is brilliant at identifying whether a slam should make. But it's not great if you haven't got control of one of the suits, because then, of course, the whole point of blackwood is if you're only missing 1 key card, you go for the slam. That's the whole point. You don't think afterwards, you think before. Okay, and that's crucial. Okay, so if you've got control of every suit, go for blackwood by all means, please. Okay, now voids another matter. We're not touching on that here today. But when you've got voids, of course, blackwood is not so ideal. However, if you're lacking a control, think about Q bidding if you're happy with the idea of it. The idea is that you agree spades, for example, you haven't got something in clubs, you need partner to have something in clubs, so hopefully you can chat, in a sense, just talk to each other. But, oh, by the way, partner, I haven't got anything in clubs, have you? And if you can do that, then you can bid accurately. So let's put up. As I say, this is from the start of the more Q bidding seminar. Just to give a perspective for everybody who maybe hasn't got a chance to watch that. Okay, so sorry for the repetition for those of you who've seen it, but it's only the basic part of it at the start. I said basic, but the meat of it, which is in fact included in very much in the previous seminar on Q bidding as well. Here we're just trying to look at some different aspects of the Q bidding later in the seminar, and we'll maybe touch on those hopefully next week is what we'll focus on. So here you opened a spade, you've got 19 points, but without a fit, it's a normal 1 spade opening. But when you get 3 spades from your partner, this is where you fully evaluate. You've got 19 high card points, you're placing your partner with 11, but you've also got a singleton here. So you've got to be thinking of a slam here. Even with just the 19 high card points, that's 30 points between you, but at a singleton, you're looking at 32, 33 total points. So you've got to be thinking, there's a chance of a slam here. You're comfortably through the barrier. You should have a 9 card spade fit as well. And essentially you do have control of every suit. Are you happy with that? Okay, you can win the second round of hearts. You can win the second round of clubs, and clearly you can win every round of diamonds. Okay, and of course in trumps we don't Q bid. our Blackwood hopefully helps us there. And that's important. I'm not talking about Blackwood on this particular seminar, but the key is, of course, a Blackwood should include the King of Trumps. I prefer keycard, the simple version of Blackwood, but beyond that, by all means, play any system you want, as long as it includes the King of Trumps. So here, as I say, you've got control of every suit, so Blackwood gives you the answer. And that's the beauty here. If partner shows me one ace, I can't believe it, and I've gone too high. I need the spade finesse to work or something like that. I think partner's likely to have 2 here, but I suppose he will. But if he's got 2, I settle for 5 spades. If he's got 3, I go for 6 spades. If he's got 4, I am dubious about his bidding standards, because he shouldn't have 4, but if he did have 4, we'd bid 7. Okay, but obviously 3 spades is a limit bid here. Okay. So here he would bid 3. I've got 3 key cards and we would bid 6 spades. Okay. But the key is, if you take, and we know we're not losing 2 tricks off the top. So for example, if partner had the ace king of spades instead, we would still know we were only losing 1 club trick, and that's the key here. If you had a doubleton club with the west hand, you wouldn't be able to bid Blackwood accurately, because if you were missing 1 key card, which you are here, you could easily be losing 2 club tricks. So having control of every suit is lovely. And as I say, if you've got it bid Blackwood, I mean, sometimes you might be taking a little bit high here, but you'd feel that holding 19 points and expecting 11 points from partner, that most of the time you are definitely within range of slam, obviously. Okay, so the aim of cue bidding simply is to resolve a problem where you have a weak suit. That's the way I like to play it. You can play cue bidding in much more complicated fashions. Okay, but the point is that that is tricky. All I really want to cue bid for is to make sure we have at least a control of every suit, in which case I'll just find out how many key cards we've got. Remember, just a reminder, the key card Blackwood is simply normal Blackwood, including the King of Trumps, for those of you who haven't seen that 5 spade response before. So if you have the strength for slam, that's 30 plus total points, and you have all the suits controlled, as long as you're only missing 1 key card, you should be pretty confident and go for slam. Don't think about it. That's what, once you decide on 4 no trumps, you've decided that that's the case. So when you bid 4 no trumps, you say, okay, if I'm only missing 1 key card, I'm bidding slam. If I'm missing 2, of course, I stay out of it. If you have all of them, well then by all means contemplate a grand slam. Okay. But understand that, because a lot of people bid Blackwood, find the missing 1 ace and give up. That's not the aim of Blackwood. If you're only missing that 1 key card, then you go for slam, because you've worked out all the rest. You've worked out you've got controls in every suit, and you've got the strength for slam. Okay. And as I say, with all suits controlled, you use Blackwood. Generally, bear in mind it's better for the stronger hand to bid Blackwood, and this is the hand, the traditional hand I like to show off, as it were, where simple cue bidding works. So 1 spade, 3 spades here, only 17 high card points, but a gorgeous hand, as you can see. It really is a wonderful hand. Once partner has shown 4 cards spades support, you don't even need the queen, really. If the spades break 2-1 outstanding, then you've got 10 tricks. So it's not difficult to imagine a slam, let alone a grand slam. Using your evaluation techniques, you'd say, giving partner 11, you've got 17 plus a singleton, plus a 6-card spade suit here, a 10-card fit. So you're well through the barrier. And you want to try for slam, and this is crucial. But of course, you have not got control in clubs. So what we said was, we want to have a chat, and what I'd love to say to my partner here is, look partner, I think there's a chance for slam, but I haven't got anything in clubs. But all of the bids we make generally in bridge, unless you've agreed, are going to be positive bids. So I don't bid 4 clubs to get this message across to my partner, because 4 clubs would be saying I've got something in clubs. So what we do is, once we've agreed a suit, 1 spade, 3 spades, both of us are in spades. If we only want to play in 4 spades, we bid 4 spades. If we introduce a new suit here, We've committed ourselves to 4 spades, so the only reason for introducing a new suit can be to say, partner, I think we might be able to do better than 4 spades. Maybe we could go higher, okay? So there's no sense in me bidding once we've agreed spades saying, oh, partner, I've got diamonds here. Do you fancy playing in diamonds? Of course he doesn't, okay? We're playing in spades. Okay, so if you have no interest in slam, remember, you either pass, of course, you could be completely minimal, or you bid game. Okay, any bid like 4 clubs, 4 diamonds or 4 hearts here is saying, partner, I think we've got a chance for slam. Okay, so any new suit is a cubid. Okay, simple method of cubidding called Italian, again, sorry, simple is not the right word, straightforward way of cubidding is Italian cubidding, where you simply show the lowest control you can. It can be first or second round control. All we are trying to establish is that we have controls of every suit. If we do, we bid Blackwood, and that will tell us whether they were first or second round controls, because Blackwood will tell you how many aces you've got and the king of trumps. Does that make sense? So at first, we just have to make sure we've got control of every suit. If we haven't, we can't make a slam, so we sign off, bid 4 spades, as it were. If we have, we're going to bid Blackwood. Okay. You are showing the lowest suit, so if you miss one out, you are denying control in that suit. Okay. And last but not least, don't forget, 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 spades is not a cubid. Okay, bidding the trump suit is simply a sign off. So whenever I go back to the trump suit, I'm basically giving a kind of negative bid, partner. I don't think so. So let's have a look at this. What are you going to bid? Well, I'm hoping you're going to bid 4 diamonds with this hand, partner. I think there's a chance for slam. I have a lovely control in diamonds. Okay. What are you going to bid? Okay, so this bid shows a lot of things. Let's go through it again. I believe there is a chance for slam, so that's really important. I believe that we have 30 or more total points between me. Please trust me, partner. I know you've got 11, you've told me that. Okay, but with your 11, I think we can go for a slam. Okay, so as long as you trust each other, the person who instigates a slam try has added your points to theirs. If you've got any more than you've promised, that's another matter. You shouldn't have here, but in an unlimited auction, then you can get even more excited, as it were. So we've hit the 30 plus barrier. I have control in diamonds, but partner, by the way, I've missed out clubs. Did you notice that? Okay, and so that's the key here. So, and as we saw in the seminar there, here we go. If your partner does not have control in clubs, he simply bids 4 spades. And that is really, really important, because a lot of people playing cubidding would have bid 4 hearts with this hand. Okay, 4 hearts is no good to me at all, because that would, as in fact Alan is suggesting, that would actually promise club control as well. Because if I have denied club control and you haven't got club control, what are you doing still trying for a slam? As soon as you find you do not have control in a particular suit, then sign off, because slam shouldn't be bid. Now, it is true, it is the case that you can always gamble if you prefer. 1 spade, 3 spades, 6 spades. If they lead the wrong suit, you'll make 6 spades. Okay, and some people love bidding that way. Generally, when we do this, it's more to do with voids, okay, is when we tend to do those random jumps. But there's no doubt if you bid 1 spade, 3 spades, 6 spades here, you will make some of the time. Okay, clearly they've got a lot of high cards in clubs, so they may well lead it. Okay, but 1 spade, 3 spades, 6 spades, if they don't lead a club, you've made the contract. You can see that. You've got 12 tricks off the top, and that's the point. We've evaluated a hand. We know we're in the slam range, but we want to genuinely try, and it's a lovely feeling. I mean, I hope some of you have had it, and most of us, I hope, where you have a sequence that you believe that you're going to be in the right slam. I thought we had a reasonable sequence at the end of the teams, although I was trying, in a sense, we were over. It was the last board, so we were trying. But by the time we got to the end of it, we had a fair idea that rather than just leaping to the slam, which was done in the other room, we had hopefully found an auction that made slam more precise. Someone asking about the 2 no trump response. I prefer 2 no trumps to be game forcing. okay, for Jacoby. You can play it as 10 plus, but then it's a little bit more complicated because you still have to work out whether you're in a game. So this hand, this responding hand, is an 8 loser hand. So for me, I prefer a 3-spade, a genuine 3-spade bid partner. I've got 8 losers, as it were. So this auction very quick, and most Q bidding auctions, that's what I want them to be, nice and swift. Clearly, if we change the hand, here, 1 spade, 3 spades, 4 diamonds. East now knows, East has got what he said, 11 points. He knows we've got control of every suit now, because you've shown me control in diamonds, partner, I've got clubs and hearts. So in theory you'd think, well, why doesn't he bid 4 no trumps? And there's a simple reason, is generally the stronger hand should be bidding Blackwood because he's going to be in more control. However, 4 hearts is a clever bid here because it shows control in hearts, but it should also promise control in clubs. Okay, not easy Q bidding, but it does allow you to bid. And the reason why that's better is if that King Jack of Hearts was the Ace of Hearts, for example. Okay, if that King Jack of Hearts was the Ace of Hearts, then of course actually you'd want to be in a Grand Slam. And there's no way you'd be able to bid the Grand Slam from the East hand. You know, you'd bid 4 no trumps and you'd probably give up, as it were. Whereas West, with his Ace, King, Queen, Jack of diamonds, knows where he wants to be. He bids 4 no trumps, finds they're missing 1 key card only, and settles for 6 spades. If it turned out that partner had both aces, he'd have gone 7 spades himself. Wouldn't need another high card in your hand because he expects to be able to throw any high cards on the Ace, King, Queen, Jack of diamonds. Okay, so 4 no trumps. Just 1, 5, 6 spades. Bear in mind, don't forget, a splinter bid is always a jump bid. So someone asking about a splinter bid, it's always a jump bid. That we will mention a splinter bid in a moment because we did have an interesting question about that, because we got because it is useful to know specifically if it's a splinter bid. Also, don't forget though, a splinter bid is a type of Q bid. It's important that. So splinter bid is saying, you know, I've got support for your partner's suit and I've got a shortage that could win the first or second round of a suit. You have a void or a singleton. Okay. So again, the most important part in many ways of all of these auctions is at least identifying that a slam might be on. So I like Q bidding auctions to be quick. Either we have all the suits controlled or we do not. So I don't go on for very long. It's only very rarely, if there's a void or something like that, you go on for a long time. Because if Q bidding goes on for a long time, we tend to lose control of the auction. No doubt about some of these Scandinavian players are brilliant at bidding and they have 55,000 conventions and alert most bids. They can stay in control of an auction, but most of us normal human beings, as it were, normal bridge players, find that once you're trying more and more conventions in one auction, things can get a little bit hazy. So the main issue, the main idea of this topic, Slam A, is more Q bidding. I wanted to start with that little start just to get across Q bidding again. If you're not happy with Q bidding, please do go back to our first Q bidding seminar, the original one. If you're not on the site, well, come on and join us. You can just join for a month, see it. You'll get about 1,000 videos for your month, as it were, and then you can always sign off, but you can have a look at those things. So what are the other things? Life is easy once you've agreed a suit, because we now, particularly a major, I should say, 1 spade, 3 spades, we know we're in it, or 1 spade, 2 no trumps if you play that as Jacoby. So we know we're playing in a suit. What becomes difficult is there are auctions where it's really tricky to agree a suit and show a slam try. Particularly, for example, 1 spade, 2 diamonds, jump to 3 spades. There's no room. 1 spade, 2 diamonds and partner, jump to 3 spades by the opener. You might be quite excited about spades, but if you bid 4 spades, it's likely to end the auction. So there are some really tricky ones where actually you sort of need to almost to agree with your partner. I mean, there are standard agreements but those standard agreements are generally for more advanced players, as in some players won't have come across them. So they would be regarded as standard ACOL, but they're standard ACOL on page, 145 of the standard ACOL playbook, as it were. So they are tricky. So one of the interesting elements that, funny enough, Dimpler's brought it up there in terms of splinter bids, is that a jump to the 4 level in a new suit is almost always some kind of Q-bid. It's usually a splinter, and I prefer it to be a splinter. But sometimes you may be desperate simply to say, partner, I'm excited about your suit, etc. It's very rare in a strong auction that you need a jump to the 4 level as a natural bid. Well, it isn't. Sorry, it's impossible to need it, I should say, as a natural suit. Because you'll always find that a new suit at the 3 level would be forcing, as long as you trust each other. So a jump to the 4 level is always a Q, but it should be a splinter 99% of the time. But if you are desperate, you can use it as a Q-bid to agree a suit. Okay, again, that's tricky, but the idea is 1 spade, 2 clubs from you, 2 spades from me. Imagine you've got good spade support here now, and you've got a really good hand. It can be really tricky to agree the suit. So jumping to the 4 level in a new suit, 4 diamonds for example here, would agree the spades and say, partner, I'm excited, I think we're in the range of slam. Okay, so you're imagining, for example, you've got, 16, 17 points opposite partner, and you've got good spade support. You desperately want to find a way of showing your strength. Okay, so that, I like you to assume they're a splinter, if you see what I mean, but the point is a splinter is a type of Q-bid. It does mean there's haziness. I was discussing this in an email this morning, and you're trying to get a balance between, I don't want to get too complex. If you have top level partnerships, will use a 3rd level, an introduction of a new suit as forcing, and they'll have a certain little trinket in there, something like a relay or something like that allows them to show their different types of hands. These hands come up so rarely that if you introduce that, you really are overcomplicating your system, as it were. So bids at the 4 level in new suits are generally going to be Q-bids. Okay, if this is in a non-competitive auction. Okay, and that's the thing. The other element which is difficult, and we are going to look at some of these next week, please do send in some hands. But the other element is when one player basically insists on his suit. So in fact, I mentioned that 1 spade, 2 clubs, jump to 3 spades. Okay, those we tend to often, you see, if it goes 1 spade, 2 clubs from me, 3 spades from partner, and I'm looking at King Doubleton and partner's suit and a nice hand. Remember, if I've got 14 points, if I've got King Doubleton, I know my partner's got 6. He's jumped, so I know he's got 16. I know now we're in the range of slam, but it can be quite difficult. I can't just bid 4 no trumps if I'm missing a suit, or I probably just won't be able to guess the final contract. So I'd prefer to have a bid, and a new suit at the 4 level there over that 3 spade bid should be regarded as some form of Q-bid. But they're not easy auctions, but we'll introduce and have a look at those. We'll have a look at those next week. Okay, so generally, if in doubt, if partner introduces a new suit at the 4 level, just bid something. Bear in mind, I'm not talking about 3 spades at opening from the opponent's double for takeout. Okay, we're talking about a constructive auction that you're having, and suddenly partner brings up a new suit at the 4 level. Just assume it means something unusual. The problem is there will be hands where you're dealt a 6-card suit and a 5-card suit, and you still want to argue with your partner. But you've just got to let those go, I'm afraid. If partner opens a spade, you respond to that, and he jumps to 3 spades, it's just not sensible to carry on arguing. So 1 spade, 2 hearts, for example, jump to 3 spades, 4 diamonds, partner, come on, please choose one of my suits. Because those 6-5 hands are not going to come up enough. They're just not going to come up, particularly, even if you've got a singleton spade here, just bid 4 spades, etc., and settle for it. Okay, so arguing with your partner at the 4 level just doesn't make much sense. It's much more useful to have new suits there to suggest greater things, and it's more fun to suggest that as well. Okay, so some interesting things. Let's go to the 5 level. So just a reminder there, so interestingly here, you never know, we might come up with a new one here. So 1 heart, 2 spades, 3 diamonds, 4 spades, and it's your bid. So we opened a heart here, and we've got a 5 level decision. And you've got to decide what to do. You're vulnerable against not here. Vulnerable against not. And you've got to decide what to do. And now obviously in most of these 5 level decisions, what we're doing is we're choosing between maybe doubling and bidding a game. Okay, and that's it's important that that isn't always going to be the decision here. Okay, so for me, and I think I forget who mentioned it earlier. I could just scroll up my chat. I think it was Andy, if I remember. I can't see that, but Andy came up with a solution. David's come up with one here as well. The key here is, to me, this is nothing to do with game or double. This is to do with slam or not. Because your hand is gorgeous, and what do you expect for partner to hold 3 diamonds? I mean, what are you placing him with? What I find interesting in these auctions is, again, if you're playing irregularly, experts will not probably play 4 winners Blackwood here. They'll play it as a general slam try. But I think playing normal bridge, should we say, it's reasonable perhaps simply to play 4 no trumps as Blackwood. Again, I think 5 clubs should be some kind of slam try. I don't think it needs to be natural. It turns out that could be natural here, but I don't think it should be. I think it's not unreasonable just to have that as a general slam try if you want. But I think you need to try for slam. For me, 5 diamonds ends the auction. And you're going to get your 600 points. The problem I've got is you're not going to get your 1430 or 1390. How do you play your 3 diamond bid? Well, really, it should be strong. I suppose partner could do it on just 10 points and 6 diamonds. But even so, if he's got 10 points, looking at your opponent's bids, surely most of your partner's points aren't going to be in spades. There will be times where partner's got a king of spades and ace jack 10 to 6 diamonds and only 1 card outside. But even then there's a weak jump over call here. Surely South is favourite to be holding something like ace queen jack to 6 spades and nothing else, in which case the king of clubs is likely to be right. But I would say that once my partner's bid 3 diamonds here, I'm looking at a 5 loser hand. So that's 2 better than a minimum. Those of you who count points, it's a 16 points and a single to 19 point kind of hand. I think we've got this diamond fit at least. I think we've got to do something. I mean, I'll open up the hands and show you what the hands are. And partner's relative, and partner's going to bid 3 diamonds with that hand. I think it's the right bid, but it's borderline. It's on the edge, and as you can see, you've got a very, very comfortable. You would have thought a very comfortable 6 diamonds there. Well, it is comfortable because you've got 12 tricks off the top, haven't you? Because of the queen jack of clubs, you actually don't even need a spade ruff. If they lead, I guess if they lead spades and switch, you can just draw trumps and claim all your tricks, discarding a couple of the spades. Yeah, so if you bid 5 diamonds, that will end the auction unless you're lucky enough to have another bite at the cherry and have your opponents bid on. Bear in mind that the vulnerability here. Your opponents are only losing, well, I mean, you can get a heart off maybe, but they might, more likely, they might just lose 2 hearts, a diamond and a club. But if you do get a heart off, you will take 4 spades 2 off. Someone asking me, well, I think so. Everybody, most normal players will understand 4-no trumps as Blackwood in this auction. If you're playing in an expert partnership, you will possibly say to yourself, well, it's a slam try, but it's non-passable. It's not passable 4-no trumps anyway. But here I think partner will take it as Blackwood, unless you've agreed. 5 clubs. The idea is that if partner's got a Doubleton heart, a small Doubleton heart, you don't necessarily want to be, it might be, slam might be less easy. Having said that, if partner's got 2 or 3 small hearts, you can still discard those on the clubs here. So, I mean, 6 diamonds isn't completely unreasonable here. Well, this is the interesting thing. I think in an untried partnership, I don't think 6 diamonds is a completely unreasonable bid here. Just bidding 6 diamonds over 4 spades. And here, if you bid 4-no trumps, you get 1 ace, and that's probably enough. I think most of the time here, the clubs are going to come in. So even if partner puts a hand down without the king of clubs, I mean, you could be unlucky. He could have the king of spades. Undoubtedly, he could have the king of spades. But you're still then in I think, a 50-50 slam, of which I think it's perhaps more likely that North has the king of clubs. He doesn't have to, of course, but I could make it a 55%. So I think a lot of the time. Again, it depends on how you bid 3 diamonds here. 3 diamonds is a strong bid as far as I'm concerned. 1 heart, 2 spades, 3 diamonds should be based on a perfectly reasonable hand. This would be around the minimum. So I think it's not unreasonable to assume partner has got this kind of hand. So I don't mind 6 diamonds. I suppose you bid 4-no trumps just in case partner hasn't got the ace of diamonds. And if he hasn't, then you avoid a hopeless slam. But I don't mind 6 diamonds. Yeah, because I don't know how partner... I mean, over 5 clubs, partner's got a pretty exciting hand, I have to say. So if my partner bid 5 clubs here, I would feel pretty excited about my hand as West. He's got control of every suit other than spades, and listening to the auction, he's thinking you've got a void or a singleton in spades. The key simply to this hand is that I want you to be thinking slam and not game. It's very tempting here to think, well, we're vulnerable, we should take 600 points here instead of doubling them. And you would be right, of course, and clearly 5 diamonds plus 1 is better than 4 spades doubled just down 2. But of course, they've done you out of a slam there. Okay, I'm probably running a bit late, so let's just nip over to the bidding quiz. The bidding quiz here. 3 spades from your partner. 4 clubs. Overcall. North, south, vulnerable. So that's an interesting one, isn't it? 3 spades from your partner. 4 clubs overcall. And your bid. And you are non-vulnerable against vulnerable opponents. So that's quite an interesting one, I think. So good luck with that one. You can, of course, see the answer on the site. Or you can, either you don't have to be a member either. So you can just come on over and see that. And see how you get on. Just register your email address and have a little think. So good luck with that. Hope you enjoyed today. Again, it was a sort of overview of the Q bidding, which is the start of the seminar on the site, the big seminar. We'll look at some extensions next week. Do send in your questions on it as well. It's quite an interesting one. A little bit more complicated than some of the things we do, but it'll be fun to have a look at it. Okay, what we're going to do now is look at our novice section, a little bit more novice defence, as it were. So let's go over. So have a nice week. Hopefully see some of you on Wednesday, and suit establishment on Friday if you fancy that. So hello, we are partner of the leader, and we are looking at it from the perspective of a novice. So we've looked at a number of hands where we are the partner of the leader. We are the partner of the leader. and you get the lead. What I want to do this time is actually look at it when we are the opening leader. So we're going to look at the opening leader and see what happens when that lead goes wrong slightly. And what I mean by that is you make a lead and it's rubbish. Now, we've seen what happens when partner works out that the lead's rubbish. He looks at his hand, etc. When we find out as the opening leader that it's gone wrong, then what we do is we try to think about our partner. Because, of course, we chose our best suit. It turns out it's no good because partner can't help us. Well, let's see if we can find what partner's best suit might be. Okay, so let's look at a hand. So remember, we are playing mini bridge, so we're not seeing any bidding. South has the most points, and North-South have the majority, and South's decided on 3 no trumps. So he's probably got 25 or more points and a couple of balanced hands. So he's gone for 3 no trumps, and on lead, we choose our best suit. And we have a little convention. We did our 4th highest card from it. So we led the 6 of hearts. Dummy plays a small one. Your partner plays the 9. And Declarer wins with the 10. So what do you think of your partner's 9? Well, if you go back to the start of what we said when we are the partner of the leader, we ask the partner of the leader to play his highest heart. Now, sometimes he plays the lowest of touching cards, but we can see he didn't have the 10. So your partner's highest heart is the 9. So what does that tell you? I know you might not believe it, but if you trust your partner, South has started with the Ace, King, Queen, 10 of hearts. Does that make sense? Your partner should have played one of those if he had them. So I think South hasn't just got the 10, but he's got the Ace, the King, and the Queen of hearts. So I think you could say that our opening lead has not hit gold dust. Okay. So, excuse me. Next, Declarer leads the King of clubs. West wins his ace. That's us. So we win our ace of clubs. What do we do next? We decide that we're not going to play hearts. What about spades? What do you think about spades? Well, you can see the Ace, King, Queen. It doesn't look that sensible. We think that South has the Ace, King, Queen of hearts, so it's not hearts either. And assuming Declarer is sensible, he is leading his best suit. So he's led the King of clubs. I would probably guess he's maybe got the Queen and Jack. Now, he could be bluffing us, but for the most part, when we declare, we play our best suits, don't we? So I'm not going to lead clubs either. So what I'm hoping is that partner's best suit isn't spades, because that's dummies, isn't hearts, because it looks like that's, well, it's mine and Declarer's, and it's not clubs, so I think it must be diamonds. So let's lead it. I've got 10, 9, 8, so I'll lead the top of a sequence there. Dummy puts the Queen on. Your partner plays the King, and it looks like Declarer might win that with the Ace, but he doesn't. So maybe partner has, after all, got most of the diamonds. So let's have a look. Okay, so we're trying to think of our partner. So there's the full hand. South has a lovely hand. He's got 2 balanced hands though. He looks at them and he says, well, we've got about 26 between us. Let's play in 3 no trumps, which is reasonable. We led our best suit hearts. Remember, we can't see what everybody else has got. Our partner might have had the Ace, King, Queen for all we knew, but he didn't. He played his highest heart, the 9. Declarer won the 10, and then he led the King of clubs. Why didn't he just play the Ace, King, Queen of hearts and the Ace, King, Queen of spades? Because it's his job to make 9 tricks and not 7 tricks. Remember that as Declarer. Declarer won the 10 of hearts. He could count the Ace, King, Queen of spades and the Ace, King, Queen of hearts. But that only gives him 7 total tricks. He needs more. Once the Ace of clubs is gone, he will have more. So he led the King of clubs. And if we win the Ace and just lead a heart back, like a lot of players will. They'll just carry on with their suit because they can only see their own hand. And that's what we do as defenders. We look at our own hand, we think, well, I'll just lead another heart and see what happens. Well, of course, if you do that, declare will have 3 club tricks, 4 heart tricks and 3 spades. That would be 10 tricks. Instead, you won the ace of clubs and led diamond, and your partner ended up making 4 of them. And he was very happy indeed. He beat the queen with his king. He then played the ace, then the jack, and eventually he makes his 3 of diamonds as well, because nobody else has any diamonds left. So he makes 4 diamonds to go with the ace of clubs. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, that is taking defense a little step further. Defense is awesomely difficult, but just understanding the basics, and perhaps most importantly, understanding that when you defend as a partnership. So try not to simply look at your cards, try to understand that you've got to sort of guess what's maybe in your partner's hand too. Okay, so I hope you enjoy that, and see you again soon.